So I am live on YouTube also, right? So I mean, I thought about making my own platform. I may do that. So if you follow 5,000 people, of course, I'm going to see his post as much. Okay, so yeah, like I said, so like we're going to talk about a few things tonight. We're going to talk about real estate investment trust. We're going to talk a little bit about Sheba Coin. We're going to talk a little bit about some hot stocks that could possibly do well here in the next few months. We're talking a little bit about Bitcoin. We're going to talk a little bit about where we see it going. Going to answer some questions. We're going to have. I know I was late, but we're still going to have a great strategy Sunday tonight. So uh, I'm live on YouTube right now. Let me see. Am I live? I think I'm live on YouTube. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube. It's like 20 people watching me, right? So I am live on YouTube. So let me get that chat overlay on. There we go. Live on YouTube, right? So I am. So like I said, is first thing I want to start about is I want to just say, yeah, I do have the mentorship program still. So if you guys still want to join that, like I said, you text the word mentor to 888-709-2614, and I have somebody reach out to you to make sure you're a good fit. Uh, and you know, and also we have the options course. It's dropping tomorrow. The advanced options course. You click the link in my bio. It's 10 classes. Teaching you from the beginning, you know, from beginners, somebody that doesn't know anything about options, all the way to a very, very advanced person, right? People always say, hey, well, what if I know the beginners? All right, so you skip the beginners class. So there's something for everybody in that class. No, regardless of what your skill level. That's why I'm giving you so much information, so many courses, because I want people to come in and, you know, and just be able to find their level and continue from there. So that's why that works, right? So I'm glad I see you guys on YouTube. I appreciate you guys joining, right? So any good stocks for next week? Well, we'll talk about the good stocks later on, right? So let me get a second here. Let me see if I can change it. All right, give me a second here. All right, so I'm sorry about that. So let's move on, right? So we're going to talk about, like I said, I want to first start out because I want to start with a post I'm going to actually put up this week, right? And is that I want to talk a little bit about that, right? Is that people always come to me and say, Armando, man, like, you know, and I'm just not out here like, you know, just talking about stocks. I'm not out here just talking about, you know, investments, crypto, right? I want you guys to understand, hey, big baby Miller, man. Hey, how's it going? Appreciate you joining. But like I said, that's the next heavyweight champion of the world right there. But like I said, I wonder, man. I was trying to go to that fight, man, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it, man. I already had that. I got an event in Dallas this weekend. I already committed to. So, man, I wanted to go to that fight though, man. The Wilder versus Fury, right? So last time I saw Big Baby Miller, man, it was funny, man. It's like I was, and I'm glad you know, I started talking. You know, we started talking on here or whatever. But you don't remember me, man. Is that I was in the Fury versus who was that guy? It was dang, I forget his name. Like I'm sorry, not Fury, but Wilder. Wilder like knocked him out in the third round or something. And and Big Baby like was right next to me, and he pushes me down and like right goes into the ring, man. It was kind of cool, man. It's like that's the first time I ever met him. And then we started like talking on here, man. That's pretty cool. But it was a good night, man. So yeah, he sat right beside me. I didn't know him back then though. But but back who was that again? Who was he fighting? Wilder was fighting somebody. It was like I forget his name, man. Uh I think I beat him in like the second round. I forget the name of it, but back to what I was saying, man, is that I want to talk about. People always ask me, they say, Armando, man, they say, what are the three things that you want? You know, if you because I'm alone, you know, I just hit 40 this year, man. So people always ask me, they said, what would you do? What would you tell somebody that was younger than you? What would you tell yourself? You know, if you can go back 10, 15 years, what could you Ortiz? That was it. I'm sorry about that. It was Ortiz. But like back to what I was saying, is that I go back 5 years ago, somebody would say, hey man, Armando, what would you tell somebody? What would you tell somebody at your age, at 25, 20 years old on what they could do and how they could be better? What would you tell somebody at 30? What would you tell somebody 10 years ago or whatever? Right. So one of the things I would have, I mean, I did it actually, but I would tell somebody, if I can go back to myself when I was 20, I actually did it, but I would tell them, I said, look, man, it's what you have to understand in life is that, and this is where a lot of people get trapped. And this is what's so important about learning about finance, learning about investments, learning about things like this is that a lot of people will put and I've seen people, you guys seen people in corporations, they'll put their entire life into a corporation. Now, I'm not one of these people say you shouldn't have a 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is okay, right? It's no problem with a 9 to 5, right? That's how, it's okay. You can use a 9 to 5 to fund investments, right? But the thing about a 9 to 5 is that you can't get trapped into the mindset of a 9 to 5. I don't care if you keep them up for 20 years, retire or not, right? And that mindset is that a lot of times what people do is they'll put all of their hope, all their energy into that job, right? So they don't know anything outside of it, almost nothing. It's so weird, especially in software engineering. And some of these dudes in software, they'll be complete, utter geniuses in software engineering. Complete geniuses, right? They could program anything. You talk about anything outside of that narrow focus, they're completely lost, right? That's all jobs are like that. All jobs are like that, right? Is that there's people that put everything they got into these jobs. Now, when the job becomes obsolete, when the job no longer pays as much, your whole life is over, right? Because everything you got was in that job. So if it becomes obsolete, you're done. That's what happened with taxi drivers when Uber came out. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, your job is obsolete and you've put no effort, no skill into building something else. That's why I would tell somebody young, I would say, look, what you need to do is make sure you always got a plan B. Always have a side hustle. Always learn something. And the thing about today is that it's so easy to learn something else. You can learn how to do web design. You can learn how to do graphic design. You can learn how to do software engineering, all from YouTube. You can learn how to set up an e-commerce store, make money. You could just use YouTube, which is free, hustle on the weekends and figure it out and make a profitable website or a profitable e-commerce site easily. That easy. It's not hard, right? And the thing about it is that 95% of people don't do it. So because those 95% of people do not do it, you don't have no competition. Right? That's what's so beautiful about true entrepreneurship. That's so beautiful about hustling. That's what's so beautiful about making money is that the average person is going, even people, rich people, even people with money, they don't want it. They got money. They're not dealing with that. A lot of times having money or making money or being given money will cripple you, right? So you give the average person $1 million, they're going to want to do one or two things. They're going to blow it in 5 years, or two, they're gonna either blow it in 5 years, or two, they're gonna lay back and give up. But all it takes is $1 million. That's not that much, right? That's $60,000 over like what? 16 or 17 years. It's over, right? But the thing about people is some people will just give up over that. That's it. I'm done. Then the other half people will blow it within a couple of years, all of it, right? So that's the thing about it, is that the hustle mentality, rich people, poor people, middle-class people, the people that put in that amount of hustle, there's only a few people up there. There's only a few people hustling. You can out-hustle somebody easily. It's not that hard. Most people don't want to do nothing, right? So that's the first thing I would tell you. I would say make sure you got a valuable skill. And it's so easy to get one right now. It's so easy to get one. It's so easy. You can do a lot of great things, right? You'll get a valuable skill, right? And you can keep your own job. Now you got two hustles. So the best case scenario, what is it? You got to double the income. The worst case scenario, you got a backup income, right? So there's no way you could fail in that. Two, I would tell somebody that was a lot younger than me, or myself when I was 20, I would say invest your money wisely, right? And now I'm not one of these people that says, hey man, don't buy Louis Vuitton. Hey man, don't buy that nice car. Don't, save all of your money. Rich people don't live like that, so live low all your life. I don't believe in that. I believe you should get a few things. I believe you should have something. I believe, what's the point of getting all of this, building all these things, making all this money, building your wealth up? You want to have choice. That's the whole point, is the choice, right? If I choose, I want some Louis Vuitton luggage, right? That's my choice. I can get it if I want to. I'm going to build wealth because I want Louis Vuitton, but it's how you do it, right? I'm going to invest in stocks. I'm going to learn how to stocks, and when I get a certain amount of money, I'll buy these Louis Vuitton, Louis Vuitton luggage. or Louis Vuitton bag or whatever you want to buy, Gucci shoes, whatever. It's okay. But this is where it separates the real from the people who aren't ever going to have any money, right? You never use your first money to buy that stuff. You know, I make $1,000 out of the stock market. I make $2,000 off the stock market. I don't go buy a bag with that. That's where the problem is that I make a goal in my mind. I said, look, Louis Vuitton bag, $2,000. When I make 10,000, I'll buy that bag. Now it's okay. What's wrong with that? I'm gonna make 5 times what the bag cost. I'm gonna use when I get 5 times in investment income, I'm gonna go buy that bag. I'm gonna put the other 8,000 in the account and let it sit, or I'm gonna put it into a real estate investment trust. Now, or when I build up this stock to 8,000, I'm gonna buy that purse. Now, it's nothing wrong with that. There's no problems with that. You can do that if you want to, right? And that's what people don't understand is that people want to look down. Nobody does. You got to save all your money. No, it's not about that. It's about making the right decision, right? You can do whatever you want. The power of wealth is choice, but you have to do it the right way, right? The last thing I would tell people is that one thing people don't realize about me is that through my 20s, I had horrible credit. You know, I mean, and the thing about it, man, is that it started out bad, right? Is that I didn't have no credit at all. I get on campus the first day at college and I signed up for 3 credit cards. They approved me all for $1,000 each, right? So I'm 18 years old. I run up the cards, never pay them back, right? So what does that do? I have 7 years of bad credit, right? Never made a payment on none of them, you know. So from 18 to 25, I had bad credit. But the problem is that really the problem is I never really built up credit during that time. I just gave up on credit early. Credit ain't nothing. I'm done anyway. So my credit didn't get good, like actually a good score into my 30s because I was 7 years of like 380, 400 credit score. I never made a payment in my life, right? So from 18 to 25, I'm done. So from 25 to 32, I never built it up. I just had like no credit basically. So I didn't have no credit. One thing that thing taught me is that one thing I do appreciate about that happened to me is it taught me to look at things a different way. Is that now I look at stuff as like I don't use credit unless it's going to make me money. I will buy an asset with credit. I don't buy liabilities with credit. I don't do that to this day, right? And in certain situations I would, but I try to only buy assets with credit. I'm gonna buy business with credit. I'm gonna buy something that's gonna make me money with credit. I'm gonna do other things like that with credit, right? But I'm not gonna buy something like a TV with credit. That's stupid. Unless you got a 0% interest rate or a very, very low interest rate that's lower than what your lowest return is in an investment. Then you can do it, but that's another lesson, right? But I would go back. That's what I would tell myself. I would go back and tell myself to make sure you understand credit and make sure you keep a good credit score, because me not having good credit those years. Now, I learned a valuable lesson and I use that now. And that's the good thing about having an open mind and being able to learn is that no matter how bad something is, you should be able to leave with a lesson. I don't care what happens to you. You should be able to pull a lesson out of it and make that part of who you are. But I wish it never would have happened. I tell you, I wish when I was 18, I would have understood credit. I wouldn't have made those mistakes. We're able to save a lot of money because I had to buy everything in cash all through my 20s. I didn't because I had to pay high interest rates on stuff because my credit was so bad, because I couldn't get into certain apartments and stuff. I lived my whole life like a vagabond trying to get away from, because I couldn't, I was like almost a person off the grid or something, right? Because everything required credit. I didn't have, I knew in the back, I didn't even check because I know I got a 400 something credit score. Why even try? So but that's what I would tell myself. I'd say, go back, make sure you watch that credit score, because the average person spends. This is another thing for you guys to know. Average person spends about $500 to $700 a month in just interest payments, right? So think about your life. Is that I'm paying on a car. Let's say I got bad credit, right? So I got a car. $500 a month, so it's 22%. So I'm paying about $100 a month on that, every month. So that means I'm paying $100, right? So let's say I got a bad mortgage too, because I now have good credit, so I'm paying an extra $200 a month on that. That's $300. So now I got some credit cards out there. I'm paying $160 a month. Now that's $450. That's $350. But now let's say I got some other bad stuff I got because I got bad credit, right? That adds up. That's $500, $600, $700 a month. You paying just in interest payments because your credit score was too low, right? So what can you do with $700 a month? Now, most people, don't even notice it, because what they do is that they look at things in payments. And like, I pay $600 a month for this car, so that's good. But nobody looks at the interest rates on that. Like, what's the interest rate? Nobody cares. Nobody thinks about that. Because if you look at your bills, like, I encourage you guys to do this. I want you guys to do some homework here. I want you to get all of your bills out there, right? All of your bills. And I want you to look at them, and I want you to calculate the interest payments on all the things you got. I want you to add it up and come up with a final number. I promise you guys, you'll be surprised at how much interest you're paying, right? So let's move on to Bitcoin, and we're going to talk a little bit about Sheba Coin, and we're going to talk a little bit about these two stocks that are out there, right? So yeah, I'll get the badges back on. I just want to try it out. Somebody told me to change my profile to, like, change my profile to what do you call it? Personal, and maybe, I could reset it or something. I'm gonna try that, see if it works, see if it happens, right? Because like I said, a lot of my content isn't getting shown to everybody. So like I said, if you guys want to see my content, uh, I encourage you guys to go to my profile after this live. Click at the top right-hand corner of my profile. There's a big bell up there. Click the bell, and you can do post notifications for everything that happens, so you won't miss it in case they bury me anymore, right? So let's take a look at YouTube. We got a few questions up there. So somebody says, what's the event in Dallas? Felt my comment would have better visibility here. I guess it did, because I saw your comment. So Tanisha. So yeah, I'll be in Dallas on October 8th, 9th at the it's an event. Black Renaissance is throwing it on. We talked, and and I agreed to come over. So I'll be speaking on stocks, market cycles. I'll put a post up later this week too in Dallas. I think it's like, I don't know what the price. I think it's like $40, $50. I don't know what they're charging, but this is pretty. And JP Morgan Chase is sponsoring it, so it'll be a good event. If you're in Dallas, I encourage you guys to stop by. I got the link, and I'll send it to you. Just DM me, and I'll get you the link. So somebody says on YouTube that they can send me to the big screen now. I appreciate that. That's still kind of weird to me that I'm like on somebody's TV, right? So I appreciate that though, man. So it's kind of weird, but I really like it. I like it, but like I said, it's not weird in a bad way, but it's like sometimes I don't, I'm like a humble dude from Tennessee, man. So sometimes I appreciate you guys for some of the things that you do. It kind of makes me a little bit like, I guess it humbles me a little bit, I guess. But so somebody said they calculated their interest payment last week. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing about it. Before we move on to Sheba and Bitcoin, I just want to say one more thing. I encourage you guys to do that, because a lot of times, I'm going to tell you something about you guys out there. I'm going to say a lot of you guys a lot of people finance and investments, finance and all that money stuff. A lot of people are afraid of that, right? Because you still got an emotional connection with money. Right? So a lot of you guys are terrified of money, right? Still. So what does that mean, right? What that means is that money still triggers these emotions in you, right? So think about this, right? Is that when I was younger, one thing that I did, I know some of y'all do that out there, is that I would go on, like, let's say I'm like right out of college or something, I'd go out with my friends one weekend, or I'd go on a trip. That's a better thing. I'd go on a trip, right? And I would scan my debit card without even thinking, right? So I would get back home. I'd be terrified to look at my account. Now, why would I be terrified? Whatever happened, happened. The money is gone. It don't matter if I look at it or not. So why would I avoid looking at the account? I know some of y'all do that. It's okay to say it, I know some of y'all out there do the same thing, right? Some of y'all do the same thing. You're afraid to see what the damage was, so you just avoid it for 4 or 5 days. Like by not seeing it, it's not gonna be there. It don't matter if you see it or not. It's there. The whatever the $2,500 you spent on a weekend is gone. So it don't matter if you look at it or not. But if you do things like that, you have an emotional connection with money, right? But you have to be able to face these things. That's why it's important for you guys to take those bills out, write it down, because when you see these things, it shocks you. And then you make action from that shock, right? You making actions. Like if you notice you paying $1,012 in interest, you're like, God, I didn't know I was paying that much. How can I get this interest off of me? Because now it's a number. It's a real number in your head, right? Somebody says that people came on people came here to talk about crypto. I mean, I think I can talk. I mean, I'm not going to get into that. So let's move on, right? I should talk about Sheba at the end now, but I'm not going to do that to him. So let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin, where it's going, and then we'll talk a little bit about Sheba, and we're talking about these two great stocks that I think are coming up now. So Bitcoin, what happened? I think it was last week. Is that China banned Bitcoin completely? I think it was since last time we talked, right? Is this last time we talked? Bitcoin was banned by China. What does that mean? Is that China said that nobody can trade or do anything with Bitcoin? Anything, right? Nothing. So what does that mean? That means that essentially in all of China, Bitcoin is banned. Now they've took steps toward this over the years. And the scary, I mean, not the scary thing, but the good thing is that every time they took a step like that, they would kill the stock. I mean, I'm sorry, they would kill the crypto. So last time, if you guys remember back earlier this year, China banned the banks from taking crypto. So what happened when that happened, right? So all Bitcoin went from 63,000 all the way down to 29,000 because China said just the banks were done with it, right? So now a few months later, Bitcoin's recovering. Now China says something else. Do you notice how this big bad news about Bitcoin comes out when the crypto is rising? Now why don't they come out when it's down? Why didn't China ban Bitcoin when it was down? Because it's an effect and it's an effort to kill it. That's all it is. They want to kill it because it's a threat to them, right? So back to what I was saying. This first time they said it killed it. You down 60% on Bitcoin, right? So rises back up. Now the Chinese people, all we got to do is put out some bad news with it, go back down. They got it, with confidence, right? They did it this time, nothing happened. That's some scary stuff. This time it didn't happen. Their power over Bitcoin is not they don't have it no more. Just a quarter of the world's population lives in China, I believe. China bans it. Bitcoin goes down about 10% and recovers in a week and a half. Think about that, right? And like I said, China does own a lot of Bitcoin too, because they seized it though. But it's not because they seized it. But I guess they're still owning it. But like I said, is that the thing about crypto is that I told people in the Tampa event this morning, we had a brunch in Tampa. It went pretty well. I said, crypto ain't going nowhere. I promise you that. It's not going anywhere, right? It's going to stay here. It's here to stay. That's why it's important to understand these things. Make your moves right now, because you're gonna kick yourself 10 years from now, not understanding this stuff, right? And people always say, do you still think it's going to 100,000 by the end of the year? I still think it's going there. I would say, I always say by the end of this year, early next year. So that gives us to about February or March of next year, we'll be at 100,000. I stuck to that for 2 years straight. I've said that, right? And now other people are coming to say it, other analysts and stuff. But I've been saying it for 2 years. I still believe it's going to. I actually, to be honest, I think it's going past 100. I don't know how much, but it's going past 100, right? But when it does that, it's going to be a retraction right after, right? It's going to be a retraction. It's going to be what somebody referred to today as a crypto winter. That term is used to say, for 3 years, people ain't gonna be talking about it no more. People ain't gonna be, ain't gonna be a lot of news about it. It's gonna disappear like it did before. Then it'll pop back up in 2024, 25, right? So, with that being said, we got to make our moves based on that, right? So Sheba Coin, right? Is that Sheba Coin? A lot of people are talking about Sheba Coin. And I took a look at it, right? So, and like I said, Sheba Coin is like the thing about it. I'm gonna tell you, people ask me a lot about it. Now, I'm a little in the middle on this coin, right? And the thing about it, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna break down what I think about it, and then I'm gonna say what I would do if I was still investing in coins right now. Like all the coins I got right now, I'm in holding mode now. I'm not really. I am buying Cardano, but that's really it right now. But let's say what I would do if I was fresh to the game and what I invest in this. I'll tell you guys, right? So let's talk about Sheba, right? So we look at Sheba Coin. So I'm gonna tell you what Sheba Coin is, right? And it's gonna actually, not scare you, but make you understand it, because I want people to understand what they're getting into when they buy these things, right? Is that okay? So let's go back to the history of crypto. We go back to 2000. Bitcoin gets created, right? So shortly after, Bitcoin was the first crypto of all ever created. So shortly after, Litecoin, Dogecoin, all these coins, but like for years, it was only like 5 or 6 coins, right? And Dogecoin was one of the first ones. Litecoin was one of the first ones. So, but the thing about Litecoin, Dogecoin, if they were all copies, right, you could just send money back and forth. They were like Dogecoin is a copy of Litecoin. They literally took the code from Litecoin, changed it, then they put it back out. There's other coins that are copies of Bitcoin, right? So there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just letting you know where it's at. So all the coins work basically the same. So 2015, this coin came out, and I know you guys know it. It's called Ethereum, right? It's called Ethereum, right? So Ethereum comes out, and then Ethereum comes out, and that changes the whole game of crypto. Like all of a sudden, there's new possibilities. There's smart contracts, which we got. I talked to you some of you guys about. There's smart contracts. There's other you can program on the blockchain that you can create other tokens on top of that, right? So Ethereum allowed a way, and it's called ERC20. That's a type of token that you can create on the Ethereum network. Now, I'm going to say something that may scare some of you guys, or also make you understand this, is that it takes 20 minutes to create a coin. 20 minutes. Before Ethereum came out, it took years probably to develop one. But Ethereum came out, and they have a process or a feature in their code that you can just create tokens on top of it. I can go online, copy the code to do an ERC20 token, execute it on the network, and now I got a token, Mondo token. I can create the amount I want. I can create the decimal places. I can create the symbol. All that stuff is created and pushed out to the network. And I got a coin now, Mondo coin. I can get on there and start selling it tomorrow. Same thing with NFTs. Anybody can create an NFT. It's not hard, right? So that's why you got to be careful. So if it's so easy to make, how do I know which ones are good ones? I mean, that's the thing about it, is that I can make, first of all, I can make coupons. Think about this. I can make coupons on my computer right now. I can make Mondo coupons right now. So with my big face on it, say, hey, man, it's one Mondo buck or something, whatever. Those don't have no value. Like, where are you going to use Mondo bucks at, right? But if you get a real dollar, or you get like maybe a Dollar Tree, like, gift card, that has value, because you can go and Dollar Tree and you can convert it to real stuff, right? So that's what's called a use case. That's what a use case is, right? So if I just create a bunch of Mondo tokens that they have no reason, why do they exist? I don't know, man. I'm just going to sell them on my Instagram. Now, why would I do that? What's the point of these things, right? And another thing people will get in trouble for, I'm going to tell you this right now, happened back in the ICO stuff, is that the thing about it is that if I sell you something like that and I tell you buy these Mondo tokens because they're going up in value, I just sold you what's called an unregistered security, which is a felony, and you also get in trouble by the SEC. It takes about 2 years for that to happen, and they're gonna go after a whole bunch of these people in these NFT stuff. That's why if I was in NFTs, I would stay away from it completely, because I'm telling you right now, the SEC is going to come out hard after some of these people. The language they use when they promote these NFTs, if they said anything like the price is going up, buy it, it's expected to double, you committed securities fraud and you can go to jail for it, right? So you got to be, that's what I'm saying. That's why I stay away from this. People have offered to pay me $10,000 to talk about some NFT or something, and I've turned it down because I don't want to be involved in that, because I know what's going to happen in a couple of years. Right. So I don't want that, it's not worth the money. It's not worth the risk. It's too much legal exposure. But back to what I was saying, is that Sheba Coin is an ERC20 token. That means that somebody created it on top of Ethereum. It's going about 20 minutes to make it, but that doesn't mean it's bad, right? That doesn't mean it's bad. That means that I'm just telling you that some tokens are created like this, right? So the thing about it, though, is that Sheba Coin does allow a lot of programmability on it because they're created on that token. So, and it does have a good use case, right? And also you can use Ethereum features like smart contracts, development and stuff using Sheba Coin. So because of that, and because of the popularity behind the coin, because of the analysis, I looked at the technicals, the way I think about this coin is that it's high risk, right? But because it's high risk, you got to think about this, is that the upside on this coin, because right now it's like, I don't even know what, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 1/100th of it's eight out of I don't even know what the decimal is. It's like, it's not a cent. It's like It's 0.000086 cents. So I mean, it's like it would take 100,000 of these tokens to make 1 cent, basically. So I'm just saying, man, it's kind of cheap. But one thing about these cheap things like this is that I'll tell you what I've seen, and I'll tell you why I think that it has potential. And I think the risk, if you do a risk versus reward like analysis on this, the risk is maybe worth the reward, right? Because if it does take off and it does well, you're gonna make a lot of money. But if you put some money into it, nothing happens, you're gonna lose a little bit of money, right? So it may be worth throwing a few hundred in there and just holding it, see what happens, you know? And that may be what I'll do, right? Because the thing about it is that whenever you hear buzz about something, especially in a bull market like this, that buzz always precedes a jump in the asset, right? But then it's not going to be stable. That's the thing you got to worry about. It's not going to be a stable rise because I just don't believe that this coin is going to be something that's stable and become a major coin player. But I do see it as possibly jumping here, especially in this next Bitcoin run. You got to remember, Bitcoin goes up, right? Bitcoin may go up 10%, but the coins that are farther down on the list, what happens is that their gains and their losses are exaggerated, right? So that means if Bitcoin goes up 10%, these ones at the bottom may go up to 100, 200, 300% on the same day, especially something like Sheba Coin, because it's almost like a penny stock, is that the price of it is so low that if you get enough volume into that stock, you can go up 3, 4, 500% every day for like 5 days, it could. Right. And because of all that buzz and how people are talking about it and stuff, it may be a good thing to choose risk versus reward if you look at it like that. Right. So I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm not saying it's going, but I'm saying I may throw a few $100 in there and see what happens. Right. So why not? Because the risk, I may lose $500. Oh, you lose $500. That's just part of trading. But if you win, you get them. If you that 500 turns into 50,000, it's worth it. It's worth the risk. Because I would throw 530 stocks, right? You can throw $500 in 30 stocks. And then you may lose it. And most of them, all you got to do is hit one $50,000, you made your money back, right? Easy. So I may put some money in this because I think it's a risk versus reward wise, it may be a good investment. I'm not saying it's like a good long-term investment. I don't believe that. I don't believe you probably got you got a good solid chance of losing all your money or most of it. But if it goes up, it may be worth it, right? So I think I'm gonna put a little bit of money in there. I'm not gonna put $10,000 or nothing into it, but I'll put a few hundred, see what happens, right? You guys lost sound? I mean, there's somebody made a good point. Track Queen. She said, "Why it's a risk at all like blowing money on a lottery ticket." Now, lottery tickets are way. Okay, let's say this one is a 1 in 10 chance of you making your money. Right? Lottery tickets are 1 in millions. It'd be like a 1 in 400 million you're gonna win. I mean, people do that all the time. So why wouldn't I put $500 in a let's say 1 in 6 chance? That's a way better risk, right? That's what I'm saying. Is that a lot of people don't see that, man. A lot of people don't see it. They'll spend money. They'll go and put $5 a day on a lottery every single day, every year. How much money is that? 5 times 365 is $1,500. You spend on lot hoping you're gonna win the lottery. Right? And the odds are you will never get that money back. But if I do this, I throw money here, eventually when I'm hitting, I get my money back. So it's a much better risk. If you calculate the odds, you calculate the risk versus reward, it's a better chance, right? But I'm not saying you probably will lose your money on it. But if you hit it, it's going to be a lot. You're going to make a lot of money. So it's those kind of small risks like that are worth it, right? Mondo token's been taken off. So now let's talk about these two stocks that I want to talk about. So there's a stock out there. Now I've already talked about it, so I'm not going to try to hold it back or do any kind of, making you guys wait or nothing. But so should I buy Bitcoin now? And what's the best platform? So I mean, I can't tell you what to buy and sell, but almost every okay thing about Bitcoin is that I mean, if it doesn't go up short term, it's going to go up in 4 years. So if you're willing to hold it for a while, you're willing it's almost no, I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I can't say that. I'm not telling you I can't tell anybody what to buy and sell, but it's one of the most guaranteed investments I ever seen in my life. right? But I can't tell you what to do. You got to make your own decision. But it's almost obvious what's going to happen. Like we go back to 2020, around the middle of 2020. I was able to predict where Bitcoin was going to be down to the month. And we were at $3,000 then. I said, look, Bitcoin's going to be at 30,000 by the end of the year, and it's going to go from here. People thought I was crazy when I said it. Now, how was I able to predict that? Because I understand how Bitcoin market cycles work, and that halving triggers that market cycle, right? So now, if we go forward 4 more years from now, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to happen again. People are going to forget about Bitcoin. The halving comes in 2024, and it's going to trigger the fourth cycle. Right? Then Bitcoin is going to go from wherever it's at, it's going to go up 10, 20 times. And that's what's going to happen in 2024, 25. Right? So if I'm willing to hold that long, it's no way I can lose. But in the short term, you can lose. Right? If I need my money by the end of next year, I may be down by then. You see what I'm saying? Like say Bitcoin, I put it in now, Bitcoin goes to 120, comes all the way back down to 40,000, 30,000, and it holds for 3 years. Now, if that happens, I may be down for years, man. 3, 4 years. I can't take my money out because I'm down. Right. So that could happen. That's why I'm saying if you have the time and you are willing to look into it long term, it's almost no way I believe you can lose. And like I said, I can't. I say that because that's how I feel about it. But you got to do your own due diligence. You have to do your own research, make your own decision. So we talked last week about SoFi, right? It's been down, up and down all week, but I still believe I'm putting more money into that this week. I'm doubling down on it because I'm telling you, man, before you know it, SoFi will recover and it's going to be up 3, 4, 5 times before you even know it. And I strongly believe that because of what they're doing in the marketplace, the type of customers that they have, the type of products that they're coming up with, all the products are interrelated and they all fit that demographic, right? So I believe very strongly that SoFi is going to do well, right? I can't tell you when, but that's almost a no-brainer to me now. Remember this too: is SoFi has that IPO recently, and it's down 50% from that IPO. The sell-off is over. All that bad stuff during the IPO is over. So now is the time for that stock to recover, right? So that's one of those stocks that I'm just telling you, I think it's going to be a good purchase. I believe that we can make. What is the stock at now? Let me see. So SoFi right now is see. So SoFi right now is at 1645. So I can easily see this going to 30 in the next 6 months. Easily. Right? Now easily, right? It has a lot of potential right now. We talked, if you guys want to know more about that, you can go to last week's and you can take a look at that, man, and see what happens. So I need you guys to do something for me before we talk about this last stock, right? I want you guys to share this live right now. So if you guys, I want you to share it with 10 of your friends. So once you do that, click the word. I want you to put the word share down in the comments. And I'll appreciate that from you guys. So now I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things. So we do have the mentorship program open, right? So if you're interested in the mentorship, I want you to DM me the word mentor or text the word mentor to 888-709-2614. You'll get a link and you'll be able to sign up for a meeting with somebody on my team, and they'll discuss what the options are and if you're a good fit. We also got the advanced options class, right? Click the link in my bio to get that before the price goes up tomorrow. That's the last day for that price because the class is actually getting dropped as a pre-order. So that class will show you every single thing you need to know about options, and regardless of where you are. If I'm a beginner, I'm an intermediate, I'm an advanced, there's going to be something in that class for you, and you will get true value in that class. This class is going to change a lot of people's lives because a lot of people understand the power of options, how you can use small amounts of money to control large amounts of stocks. That's why people make so much money in options. People are confused. How did this dude make so much money in this stock when he moved 3%? Because he was able to control a group of options, a large amount of options with a small amount of money. So when that price goes up on that stock, he controls all the profit on the stock. If I'm controlling 1,000 stocks with a little bit of money and all those thousands go up 1%, all of that profit is mine. On a high level, that's how it works. But it's a little bit more than that, but that's basically how it works, right? So if you're interested in that, click the link in my bio. Son, the CNC is also reopened, right? We got 30 spots again this week. So I want CNC members to do this. We had an amazing week in CNC last week, and I'm really proud of you guys for the ability to make so much money last week. So I want you guys to do something, right? I want you, the people in the CNC, If you made money last week in the CNC, I want you to drop some money bags. Let's see how. If you did it, if you're on YouTube, drop some money bags too. So I appreciate you guys sharing everything. People on YouTube, share this live with people on you. Take the link and copy it. Share it with people on your Facebooks. See all those money bags? So, like I said, the CNC is open. Click the link in my bio, sign up for it. You'll be ready. You'll be there in the morning. Be ready to go. So, like I said, I hope you guys click that link and join because we only got 30 spots. Usually by like Tuesday, they're all gone and I close it down for the week. So, I always open up new spots on Sunday. So let's talk a little bit about real estate, right? And that's the last thing we're going to talk about, right? So for those you don't know, I'm going to Puerto Rico. First of all, next week I'm gonna be in Dallas at the Black Wealth Renaissance event. Then a weekend after that, I'll be in Puerto Rico filming my documentary on the real estate on the island. So that's something I've been really trying to towards. And like I said, I'm funding this whole documentary myself, and I'm gonna release it for free. But the problem is that the film crew that's helping me, they want to submit it to some film festivals, so it won't be released until like March, April of next year. I'll put it on YouTube for free for everybody. It's gonna be a very high quality, well produced documentary. And we're going to talk about the problem. We're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about the history of the island, the Tainos that lived there, the Boricuan people that lived there. And we're going to talk about how the colonists came, how they took over the island, how they monetized the island. And then we're going to talk about how America took control of the island through colonization. Then we're going to talk about the current state of real estate in Puerto Rico and how corporations are buying up all the property and how that's going to affect the prices and stuff here coming soon. So the whole point of this is to encourage smaller people to invest in the island because that's the way we keep it away from corporate hands, right? Because what corporations do is they get into the island like they did in Hawaii. The Dole Corporation buy up all the land. Now they control the entire island. And a lot of these islands around the world are controlled that way. Corporations get in there, they buy it all up, and then that's they control the politics, the economy, everything on the island, right? So I'll be there next. That's what I'm going to be doing not next weekend, the weekend after that. So, like I said, it's after we film it, after we do it, we're gonna submit it to a few film festivals, and it'll be available. We can't think about when you submit something to a film festival, you can't have it anywhere else until they do all the judging. So the last one's in March, and after that, we'll put it on YouTube for regular people to watch. So like I said, I appreciate you guys dropping those money bags. I appreciate you guys sharing those lives. So the last thing I want to talk about is real estate, right? That's kind of a segue into that. So if you guys heard the news, right? Like remember when I told you sometimes you hear conflicting reports in the media? And I can't, I'm not gonna blame anybody and say they're doing it on purpose, but it's something going on, is that the common knowledge, what has common knowledge told us since the pandemic is that companies don't need real estate no more. They don't need real estate. I mean, everybody's going to work from home. And real estate is done. How many of you guys have heard that recently? How many of you guys have heard that recently that corporations don't need real estate no more? They're going to, everybody's going to work from home, right? So real estate, all the commercial real estate properties are going to drop. How many people have heard that? Now, a lot of people have heard that, right? But then Google goes in and buys the biggest purchase of an office building in history in New York at $2.1 billion. Now, that's a conflicting report. Now, why would that happen? Like, why would Google be investing so much money into an office building? $2.1 billion into an office building to have the employees working there, right? Because office real estate, commercial real estate ain't going nowhere. That's why, right? Because they're trying to keep you away from those investments. I believe, right? But how can a small man take advantage? I can't buy a $2.1 billion building. I mean, that's crazy, right? I can't afford a commercial a skyscraper. But there's a tool out there that allows smaller investors to take advantage of these trends in the marketplace, right? So, real estate investment trust, REIT, that's what we can use to take advantage. Now, real estate investment trust, there's different types of them, right? You can have one for residential houses. You can have one type for, like, let's say, cell phone towers. They actually got real estate investment trust for just cell phone towers. They got some for healthcare. They got some for just apartment buildings. There's different ones for everything. Well, they also got they got different ones just for commercial real estate, right? So there's one in New York that I've been watching, right? And it's publicly traded, right? It's called Bernardo Realty Trust. That's VORNADO, right? And that one is one that I've been looking at a lot because I really believe that this one will we're going to make some money in the future. And that was up 3% on Friday, and I believe it can go a lot farther, right? So I think I can see it being at 100 here in the next, because real estate investment is going to move a lot slower than a stock. So I say about in a year, right? I can see it being at 100 easily. And it's called, the symbol is VNO, right? So right now, that's a real estate investment trust that exists in New York. Now, well, you got to remember, when Google came in and bought that office building, like how real estate works is that now all the prices of real estate are going to go up fast, right? That's how real estate works, is comp value. So if somebody comes in and pays a large amount of money for a bigger building, what happens to all the buildings next to it? They go up in value too. And what happens to the buildings next to them buildings? They go up in value. And it's like a cascading effect all around the city. So that's what's going to happen in New York. These prices, and even like places like Tampa, the prices are getting ridiculous. There will eventually be a market crash, but it'll recover, and everything will be everything will be pretty good going forward. So that one has three. That's one that I really, I'm really bullish on. I really believe that it can do well. That's one that specifically does only real estate in Manhattan, in New York City. Now, because of that, and because that building was in New York, I really strongly believe that this can do well pretty soon. Right now, and I really believe it can at least go to 100, in the next, I say 6 months to a year, right? You also get a yield on that, right? So you not only get an increase in the value, but it's not a dividend, it's called a yield, but you get paid every year just for holding that. So not only are you going to get the $100, $43 to $100 every year you own it, you're going to get a 4 or 5% return every year you hold it. So it's a great way to invest in real estate in New York without having to actually buy buildings in New York. Because how many people can buy buildings in Manhattan? There's very few people. It's probably even people in the 1%. Most of the people in the 1% can't even do that, because the 1%, I think it's like 2.5 million is at the 1%, $350,000 a year. You're in the 1% of society. Now, they ain't even enough money to buy that stuff, right? So we're talking about the 1% of the 1%. Those are the only people in the world, the 1 in 10,000 people that can buy real estate properties in New York, right? But as a person, maybe through a corporation, but as a person, right? So see, I hate to say this again, but I told the stock down 200 viewers. So, like, with that being said, like I said, I hope you guys have I'm gonna give you guys 4 or 5 minutes to ask any questions. And I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. I appreciate you guys getting on with me later, because I'm sorry about being late, but uh, it's just something that happened. Short attention spans. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what's been going on, man. They be gone as soon as I say the stock price, stock symbol, gone. Maybe, but like I said, maybe they're researching it, right? I don't know, but it's okay. Like I said, is I hope you guys have a great night. I'll try to jump on before the market opens, take a look at some stuff. I'll be on YouTube though only. I won't be on. So like I said, if you guys want to follow me on YouTube and you're on Instagram, go to YouTube right now, search for Tall Guy Tycoon, and subscribe to my channel. Right. Then in the mornings when I go live on YouTube, you also get and you can also set there's a bell there too that you can set, so you'll get notifications. Uh, so like I said, I'll try to be on YouTube in the morning and go over some of the opening stuff in the stocks or whatever. So if you guys, like I said, subscribe to my YouTube and you won't miss anything. Like I said, I hope you guys have a great night. I also send out a text right now. Some of you guys got the text. I'll send out a text and tell you guys to subscribe. So like I said, I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for joining. Have a great rest of your night.